Indiana's 10-0 start against Minnesota wasn't just about buckets falling early. It was about a team refusing to look at who was missing and instead choosing to define themselves by who was still standing. No Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham, no Sydney Colson, no Khloe Bby, no Arie McDonald. 5 key rotation players all gone. That kind of attrition usually signals the end for a season. But instead of folding, the Fever opened that game like they had something to prove to the entire league. They weren't just trying to survive without their star. They were making a statement. We're more than one player. We're not here to bow out quietly. Kelsey Mitchell embodied that mindset. She didn't just step into a bigger role, she embraced the weight of being the engine. Her words after the game resonated in the locker room. You've seen our growth. 4 simple words, but the impact was immediate. It wasn't about her scoring record. It wasn't about the 20 points per game that already had her rewriting franchise history. It was about the team. The growth of a group that had been left for dead, doubted, dismissed, and now looked playoff ready. The Lynx didn't roll over either. Minnesota has been one of the standard bearers of the league for years. Even missing pieces, they bring intensity and execution. That's why beating them mattered so much. It wasn't just a tally in the win column, it was a measuring stick. It showed Indiana exactly where they stood against the kind of team they'd need to beat to make a playoff run. And when Mitchell reminded her teammates of their growth, she was putting that night into perspective. They weren't just winning games, they were evolving. Part of that evolution came from Aaliyah Boston. In the paint, she was unstoppable. She tied her own rebounding record, pulled down boards in traffic, and turned every post touch into a strategic advantage. Opposing defenses had no choice but to send help, and Boston punished them by finding open shooters. She wasn't just a dominant big, she was running offense like a guard in a center's body. That versatility shifted the way the Fever attacked, giving them a balance that carried them through tough stretches. Then there was Odyssey Sims. Written off by some as past her prime, she played like a spark waiting to be lit. Off the bench, she dropped 15 points with confidence, attacking the rim, hitting mid-range shots, and steadying the offense when it looked like the Lynx might make a run. Her words after the game, "New season starts Sunday," weren't just a throwaway line. They captured the spirit of the team, a group willing to hit reset, reinvent themselves, and keep climbing even when everything around them screamed collapse. Aerial Powers had her moment too. Those back-to-back threes in the second half were more than just points. They were daggers, momentum killers, the kind of shots that lift an entire bench to its feet. You could see Caitlin Clark celebrating from the sidelines, euphoric as the ball ripped through the net. Powers showed no hesitation, no fear, just pure confidence in a moment that demanded it. That's what playoff basketball is built on. Players stepping into big shots when the pressure is highest. Lexi Hull added her own imprint, doing the dirty work that doesn't always make highlight reels but wins games. Defending bigger forwards, switching seamlessly on the perimeter, contesting every shot and still finding a way to chip in on offense. Coaches call players like Hull the glue of a roster, and on that night she proved why. Her versatility kept the Fever's defense connected and gave them another weapon teams couldn't ignore. Natasha Howard quietly tied it all together. Her efficiency balanced the front court, easing Boston's workload and stretching the floor when needed. She hit shots in rhythm, battled under the rim, and gave Indiana a steady veteran presence. With her on the floor, the Fever had someone who could stabilize chaotic moments and keep the game from slipping. When the final horn sounded, the box score told the story. 5 players in double figures, a team effort in the purest sense. That wasn't survival basketball. That was identity basketball. It was proof that Indiana's depth, once considered a weakness, was now a strength. And through it all, Caitlin Clark remained present, engaged, and vocal from the bench. She might have been in street clothes, but she was still guiding, cheering, and analyzing every possession. Her influence wasn't gone. If anything, her leadership grew in this role, showing that even sidelined, she's still the heartbeat of the Fever. Kelsey Mitchell's historic season can't be overlooked either. She became the first player in franchise history to average over 20 points per game. Night after night, against double teams and constant defensive pressure, she delivered. She didn't just carry the offense, she evolved into a leader who made her teammates better. Her teammates and coaches see it. Opponents see it. Even the organization sees it, launching an MVP campaign to push her into the spotlight. And the truth is, she belongs there. Her impact goes beyond scoring. It's about timing, poise, and the way she's lifted Indiana to heights they haven't reached in nearly a decade. That's why her words in the locker room mattered so much. You've seen our growth. Growth isn't measured in stat sheets. It's measured in how a team responds when everything looks like it's falling apart. It's measured in the belief they carry into the toughest games. Mitchell didn't need to remind her teammates of her own numbers. She reminded them of their journey. A journey from a team doubted to a team defined by resilience. Coach Stephanie White deserves credit here too. Her mantra, "Be where your feet are," grounded the Fever through chaos. Instead of spiraling over who was missing, players were told to focus on their roles in the moment. That mindset, drilled into them from training camp, showed up when the injuries piled up. It's why they didn't break. It's why they adapted. Now, with a playoff berth secured and momentum building, the Fever look like a team nobody wants to face. They have chemistry, depth, and a star leading them who's finally getting the recognition she deserves. And next season, when Caitlin Clark returns to a roster with playoff experience and hardened belief, Indiana won't just be aiming for a winning record. They'll be chasing championships. This season was supposed to be about setbacks, but it's turned into proof that resilience rewrites stories. The Fever aren't satisfied with just getting here. They've shown they're hungry, and they've grown together through every trial. That's the foundation of something special. So as the playoffs loom, Indiana isn't walking in as an underdog. They're walking in as a contender. They've already proven they can meet the moment. Now it's about proving they can seize it. If you're fired up for the Fever, drop it down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. The playoffs are here and Indiana is ready.